Coach John Cook, thank you so much for joining me. How are we doing?
Great, great.
So anything new in your life? Anything happened recently?
No, I think I need a full-time manager to manage all the requests that are coming in, because everybody thinks, I'm retired now, I got all this free time and nothing to do. So it's been fun though, and then the other thing is I've received many letters and little gifts from people all over the state just thanking me and how much they enjoyed watching the Nebraska volleyball team, and that's the greatest compliment for me is people really have connected with our team last couple of years, and I'm hearing from these people I don't even know. It's been fun, but I'm traveling all over the place and got lots of stuff going on.
Has it sunk in yet that you're retired?
No. It's just different. I am sleeping a lot better. I don't wake up in the middle of the night worrying about why we lost to Penn State or how are we going to beat Pittsburgh. And so I've noticed that part, but there's still a lot of stuff I had commitments with and so on. So it's just I'm not with the team every day. That's the biggest difference. And then I'm here to, Danny and I talk about every other day, catching her up on different things that we had planned or I'd been working on, and just trying to make it as seamless transition as possible.
You've talked about how you've had the most fun you've ever had coaching in these past couple of years. Was there any part of this past season that you thought to yourself, I could retire or this could be it?
Yeah, I had a moment when we were at Wisconsin. It kind of hit me there. I started thinking about it. I actually had a talk with Lindsay. Lindsay and I kind of hang out usually after pregame meal before a match, and I just told her, I said, I don't know, I'm just having this feeling like, this is, what else is there to do? We can win the Big Ten, we can win a national championship, but other than that, it's starting to feel like we just kind of had a conversation, and that's where the first seed was planted.
Mm-hmm. What were some of those signs along the way? I know you've talked about some, but any in your mind, maybe with your family, that you knew, okay, this is the time?
One, the fact Lauren's getting ready to have another baby, and I got a 4-year-old granddaughter asking me where I'm at, why am I not there with them? That kind of hit. And then there was a series of things that happened. Some of it was with Danny in Louisville, because we started talking over Christmas a little bit, and then there was just signs that happened. People I talked to, and some of my people that I'm really close with, I asked them about retirement and what's it like and how do you know when, and I had just had all these signs going, and then the final one was the retirement home in Ord, Nebraska, when the old guy, as I was walking out, I can remember it was like 20 minutes ago, he said, who's going to be the next coach? And I said, well, the athletic director makes that decision. And he goes, it's going to be the Louisville girl. And I had met with Troy 2 days before that, and kind of we started talking about a transition plan, because I want to make sure, my whole thing was, if we're going to do this, what is the best timing to make sure we have a great transition? Because what we cannot have happen is what happened to football after Coach Osborne retired, and we have to make sure this thing keeps going. And so I felt good about where our team was at, our program was at, and it would be and again, as these things all started lining up, it just felt, okay, we got to do this thing. And I actually, after that retirement home talk, I was driving home the next day from Grand Island, and that's when I called Troy and I said, let's do it. And then you saw an athletic director put on a master class on how to take care of business and make a transition. I mean, it was a master class that every athletic director, every athletic program should be studying what went on for the next 4 days.
So how long did you know that it should be Danny Busboom-Kelly to take over?
Oh, Danny and I have talked about it for a couple of years now. We always get together recruiting, and I ask her, I always, what's your goals? What do you want to do? Where would if this change happened, would you want to come back to Nebraska? And so we've been having those talks for a couple of years.
Was walking away from the sport the hardest thing you think you've had to do in your career?
No. I don't feel like I've walked away yet.
Mm-hmm. They'll keep pulling you back.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe the amount of requests and things I've been asked to do, and I've turned down probably 80% of it just because it would mean I wouldn't be able to do what I want to do, which is be with the Cowboys in Arizona right now, and then be in Wyoming with my my family, and so I've had to turn down a lot of it just because I've made that commitment, and that's what I want to do. But no, I don't feel like I'm disconnected. Danny and I are pretty much texting and talking every day about revenue share and different things and recruiting, and we have a couple of players that are committed here and signed that aren't here yet in the freshman class. So just making sure all that transition goes smooth, and so I don't feel like I've walked away yet.
You've brought up your family multiple times. How has being a grandfather changed you as a person and maybe as a coach too?
Well, it definitely changed me as a coach because, Merritt Beeson made a comment to me about a year ago, like, you just need to pretend we're Madden, your granddaughter. If you just treat us like that, everything will be great. And that really hit me. And and again, probably part of this is, when you're coaching, you miss out on a lot of what your kids are doing, and your wife has to kind of manage all that. And Madden's starting to get into a lot of things right now, and I just kind of feel like I want to be a part of that and be close to that and be around that and support Lauren. Helping out with babysitting, and Madden's at an age now she wants to hang out with me. So we play volleyball. Of course, I'm the coach, and my wife's Harper, and she's Merritt, and we got a softball. We go at it.
I love it. How have you changed over the years? How has your coaching style evolved? How have you evolved as a person over the decades?
Anna, the best way I could summarize that without writing a book about it, and that's one of the things we're looking at, writing a book. I've created an outline, and Nebraska Press has it right now. They're deciding how we're going to do this. But the biggest thing, the one word to capture all this, is being adaptable, being able to adapt and change. And if I look at my last 25 years here, I've had to learn how to adapt and adjust. And so the best example that everybody relates to is I do TikToks. Okay, that's adapting as a coach. So there's just the best example I can give you. I've learned to adapt and enjoy it and embrace it and learn about new things and adapting to each generation as they've come through. Of course, I hear from the older players how soft I am now, and part of that might be having a granddaughter.
I think a prime example of how you've changed is your relationship with Harper Murray. You mentioned the TikTok and just the side that whole team brought out in you. What can you take away most from those girls, and especially your relationship with Harper?
Well, Harper was, that was one of the gut checks as a coach. How do you handle that situation? Because it could go a couple different ways. It could go, a lot of people wanted me to get rid of Harper and kick her out of the program. Not very many people said, hey, are you going to help her? I don't remember really anybody asking me that. But I knew in my gut that I talk about, and when I recruited her, that I was going to be here for her and support her, and she's basically has just her mom, and so that was the time to step up. And the more I learned about what was happening and got through the frustration part and the disappointment part, the more I understood as she started getting help. I knew that there's only one way to do this, and that was to go all in with her and hope it worked out. And I had some serious talks with her about this because I had to really lay Nebraska Volleyball on the line for that and my reputation on that. And again, I studied Nebraska football, and the situation with Coach Osborne and the running back Lawrence, I can't remember his last name. Phillips, yeah. I mean, that was similar type deal where as a coach you're being tested, and are you really supporting these players or are you not? And so that part went through that. But also her class, which is Andy and Laney and Bergen, and those guys are fun, and they really brought out the fun side for me. And that's why I've said the last 2 years I've had a blast coaching. And I wanted to go out. I wanted to retire. That was part of the decision. I wanted to do it when I was having a lot of fun, not when it was like, oh God, I can't stand this anymore, so it's time to get out. And I was waiting for that. I wanted to have that feeling, and that makes it easier to walk away, knowing it's in a great place. We got a great group. They're fun. And Danny's all about having fun. She does it in a different way, but her players love her, and she does fun things with them that I've watched over the last several years. So she'll keep that going.
Mm-hmm. The saying is pressure is a privilege, and that's been the case at Nebraska with the expectations of championships and wanting to be in the Final Four every single year. What is the price of winning to you in this program? How much does it take to be at the standard that you are every single year?
People have no idea how much pressure there is on our players. And again, I've heard this 10,000 times since our season ended. Coach, great season, but God, we don't like how it ended. God, we thought we were going to win a national championship. Well, so did I. But it's almost like we get there and it's a disappointing season. Well, if you look at our season, we had a great season. Winning the Big Ten back-to-back. I saw we've only lost 2 Big Ten matches the last 2 years. When you're in it, you never think about this stuff. But the Big Ten is tough, and it's a long haul, and to try to be good and better than all the other teams over 10 weeks is a great challenge. The tournament it goes on a couple plays, and you're either in or you're out. And so felt really good. We did great with All-Americans. We had 3 academic All-Americans, and we played really high-level volleyball this past year. So anyway, it was a great season, but you're right. Pressure is a privilege, but we also can't let that get to us and get to our players. And so that's where one of the things at Nebraska you have to learn as a coach is how do you balance that and keep it where that pressure doesn't eat everybody up. And it's not easy. And there's only a few coaches in the country in any sport that are having to deal with that. Everybody else is, it's all about the hunter and the hunted. We're always the hunted. And just look at wherever we go. We break attendance records. We're the hunted all the time. And it's a lot easier feeling when you're the hunters and you're going for it. And those are the years probably I enjoyed the most when we didn't have high expectations. 2008 would be a great example.
So when you took this job in 2000, would you have imagined any of this being possible, filling a stadium with 92,000 people, the championships, everything?
No. But Bill Byrne, who hired me, that was the athletic director, and I've told every athletic director I've worked for here, my interview was literally 2 minutes with him. He said, hey, we want you, and you can ask for anything, and I'll never say no. Now, we may not be able to do it, but I'll never say no. And that was our interview. And I said, I'm in. And that's the way it's been here with volleyball, is I've asked, and we've found ways to do things, and we call it dreaming big. And so no, did we imagine that? But we kept pushing the envelope, and that was something why I wanted to take this job, because I knew it would provide an opportunity to try to push it to where it's never been before in the sport of volleyball.
So why are you so passionate about women's sports and pushing forward women in general?
Well, Anna, so I wanted to be a football coach, and I started off after I graduated from college coaching football, and did really, really well at it. And I was a substitute teacher coaching football. So my second year, we were the #1 defensive team in San Diego County. That year we played Marcus Allen and his brother in the CIF championship and lost. And he's, of course, is in the Hall of Fame for NFL. And I loved it. And I'm thinking, okay, this is what I want to do, and eventually I can maybe be a college football coach. Well, then to get a full-time teaching job, the school offered me a job and said, you got to coach girls sports. And the first fall sport was volleyball. And then I had to coach basketball, and I coached softball. So that's where I think it kind of got ingrained in me that this is an unbelievable opportunity that girls at the time are getting a chance to play sports. And again, this is in San Diego, and it was all new, and it exploded. And now you see where it's at with clubs and so on. And so I think that's where I felt this, I don't know, calling maybe, if you want to call it that, to Title IX and giving women opportunity. And then, of course, I met my wife, and she was one of the first ones to play volleyball and be on a scholarship at San Diego State. And then, of course, my daughter, I saw how it changed her life. So I think that's where the path took me, and I still miss football.
What's been the most gratifying part of your journey so far?
Like I said in my press conference, being able to hire Danny, Lindsay, Kelly, Caleb Banworth, Lizzie Stemke, who I played for me at Wisconsin, Sharisa Livingston, who played for me at Wisconsin and wouldn't talk to me after the national championship match, but she came back here and coached. So seeing those ex-players come back and work with them, and I guess my coaching tree as well that aren't former players. I mean, look at the Final Four. You know, Louisville's got Danny and Dan Meske, who I hired as a GA here, and then eventually is hired as an assistant coach. You know, now he's the head coach, and that's the greatest thing for me. You
mentioned football across this interview. Would you ever get involved with the football team? What are your plans in university involvement?
It's interesting you ask that. They have their coaches clinic coming up here in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to open it.
Okay.
With this, they asked me to speak and open it, and I'm fired up because I've got a great presentation I'm going to give those football coaches. So, and I just told Coach Rule, I just want sideline passes. That's it. Just give me sideline passes. And just a quick story, when Bo Pelini was here, we got to be pretty close. Our kids were same age. We went to the same church. I worked out with them every day. And one of the games, I got to be on the headsets the whole game. And it was really cool. So I love it, and I love going to practice, and yeah, I'm a football freak.
So what would be your dream football position then in coaching? Any team, any level?
My dream would be offensive coordinator, but I was always on the defensive side when I coached high school football. So that's what I brought to volleyball, was defense wins championships. That's why we've always tried to be the best defensive team in the Big Ten. So I have this defensive mindset, but my dream would be offensive coordinator.
Okay. Any team?
Any team.
Any team. You'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
When you think about your journey and evolving throughout it, are there any moments or people that you point to that really impacted who you are today?
I've always surrounded myself over the years with, I call it team within a team that will help me be the best I can be. That's ranged. Coach Osborne's been one of those people. I've had another person, Dr. Whitman, who's a psychiatrist and now is into sports consulting, basically. He's been somebody there, and there's been several other people outside of the sports world that I talk to. Some of them coach other sports, and some of them don't even coach. They're business people. And so those are the people I think throughout my career that I've leaned on. Father Mattia, who used to run the Newman Center, I've had some great conversations with him. Of course, he's a huge volleyball fan. So I always tell people, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with people that are going to help you get where you want to go, and also are going to tell you what you need to hear. And you got to be willing to listen and trust those people.
So what will you miss most about coaching?
Right here, practice every day. This is what fueled my fire. I've told my assistants for years, if I could just run practice and never have to coach in a match, I would never retire. I love practice and developing players and watching and pushing them to where they don't think they can go. And that's why I've kind of replacing it with working with horses. It's the same thing. every day it's a training session, and some days they're going to be good, some days they're going to be great, some days they're going to be, I really don't want to be here. And so you got to figure out how to work with them and continue to push them to try to go to another level. And so that's kind of how I'm replacing that desire to get better.
With passing the torch to DBK, what are your hopes for this Nebraska program?
Well, the first one's already come true, the AVCA Showcase. We're going to blow out our PBA. So PBA, the first round already sold out in an hour. I mean, where was I? I was in Omaha speaking, and at the end of the speech, they come up, Coach, it's already sold out. So and I'm talking to cybersecurity guys. So, I mean, this isn't a volleyball crowd. So that will be the next event that we were looking at. The state's going to embrace her like there's no, like, I mean, that's going to be an unbelievable thing. Continue to the sellout streak. They're going to redo Devaney next year. So things are going to keep progressing, and if she can just enjoy that and be a part of that and take ownership of that will be the next step. And then I think the next thing is to win a national championship. And I think she's going to be in a great position. This team's in a great position to be able to do that.
Well, I think the most important question on people's minds, what are you going to do with your TikTok account?
Well, Harper and I made one right there at the end, which last I checked, it was like 2 million views. I don't know. Harp, again, I don't really do the TikTok. They take my phone and do it. So, and then I told Harper and those guys, Merritt always has to approve it. So they send it to Merritt, and she gives a thumbs up, thumbs down. So there's been a few she's, Coach, no.
Oh.
And so I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fun to do. In April we're going to have the match in Ord, which that's my baby, is to go out there, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm sure we'll do some interviews as we get close to that. Have just be a part of that, and I think I want Danny to know what that's like to go out there and how that all works, and really get that part of the state to support her as well, because it's been unbelievable for me.
When people hear the name John Cook, what do you hope they think of most?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't know. That just that couple things. That I'm a Husker. I wasn't born here, but I'm a Husker by choice. It's been the greatest. Moving here is the greatest thing ever. That how much I love and respect Nebraska and Nebraska athletics and the university. Both my kids graduated from here. I'm trying to help build a rodeo scholarship fund right now. That's kind of one of my things I'm trying to do. And just, once a Husker, always a Husker. And I gave it like I said, my Neil Young quote, it's better to burn out than fade out. And we went hard. And now it's Danny's turn.
All right, well, to end, we've got some photos to show you.
Okay.
You're going to take a look at these and tell us what memories come back.
Okay. Okay, this had to be when Coach Osborne was athletic director here. Is this senior night, or that's a serious look right there.
November 2010.
2010. We were not in Devaney yet.
Oh.
So I wonder where this was at. Was this at Final Four, or?
I think this was at the Coliseum.
Coliseum.
Yeah.
So might have been senior night, I'm guessing, because I'm in a suit.
Yeah. Okay. You don't pull those suits out anymore.
No, they kind of changed. But Coach Osborne was a heck of an AD, and we had a father-son relationship where he got after me a few times, but man, it was unconditional love, and I'd run through the wall for that guy. So here it is. There's the senior night, or this is this must have been senior night, and this is the ball that Lauren wrote a note on there for me, that all the players wrote notes to somebody that was important in their journey to get here. That was cool. Still have that ball. That had to be a national championship moment.
2015 in Omaha.
Yeah. Stadium match. I still get emotional when I speak and I show the video of that. I still get emotional. I mean, it was one of the most impactful nights, I think, for women's sports, for Nebraska volleyball, for me personally, and for our players. That is a moment that will resonate with all of us forever. And I think for a lot of people in this country, to be honest with you. This, I don't know, was this scene, this had to be
This
senior
was
night.
after the Wisconsin match.
Oh, after the Wisconsin match. Okay. Yeah, Harper.
Got MVP.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
You guys walking off.
yeah.
That would have been the final game between, we're with you two at
Yeah.
Devaney then.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's funny how that kind of worked out. But I think for Harper, she was at rock bottom. And to get to that point that's a heck of an effort.
Yeah.
And I sent her something yesterday. I texted her about, you really don't find out who you are until you hit rock bottom and see how you can come out of it. And it was kind of a quote like that. And, you know, she did it. So, and she's taking advantage of her platform now, which is pretty awesome. Were you down at Triple Crown?
I was not, but I saw she spoke there, the Super Bowl.
She's been all
over, yeah.
Look at that. I mean, this is a kid who was in jail, and and she's in the Super Bowl. Think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a great platform to continue to inspire young people. And this was at I brought out the retro Letterman's jacket. Bill Byrne gave me that. That was what we used to wear back in the 2000 era. And
that's cool now.
It's very cool. And I pulled that out for the basketball game, that was an unbelievable moment right there. The PBA blew the roof off and just, I don't know, was kind of handing it off to Danny in an official way. So it's cool. Yeah. Good idea, Anna. Was this your idea?
It was.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I appreciate
this is a first.
Hey.
This is a first.
John Peterson took those too. We'll give him a shout out there.
Nice. These are great.
Well, Coach Cook, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything you've done for the state. I don't think you'll ever understand the impact you've truly had on women, volleyball, and sports in general. So we appreciate you, and thank you so much for the time.
Well, thanks for, it's an honor to get interviewed by you. Thanks.
Oh, appreciate it.